Social anxiety almost ruined me. I was very shy when I was younger, and somehow I got into a major in college, which would eventually lead me to a career that was very face to face with people, very interactive. And I believe my soul kind of chose this major and this career path because I wanted to become less shy. I wanted to actually challenge myself. I think that gives you purpose in life, and I think that gives you a goal, and it makes you feel better about yourself as a person when there's something that you're afraid of or some obstacle to overcome. For me, it was shyness and social anxiety, talking to people. And I chose a career where I would have to do that a lot. And also kind of a cool career. That career was athletic training or sports medicine, helping athletes with injuries. So there was a lot of talking to athletes, a lot of communicating with coaches. Every day you were face to face with someone. It was not sitting on a computer and pushing a button. And I remember when I was graduating from my program, it was right before my final semester. We were going to go off to an internship, which I loved. I went to Philadelphia for 3.5 months for an internship to work with a college track and field team, or actually cross country team. A lot of them were on the track and field team, but it was the fall, and right before that fall, the spring, we had to stand in front of all the other cohorts, all the other classes below us. My class had 9 people, and the program in college, so it's a 4-year degree, but there's like 2.5 years of the athletic training program within those 4 years of that bachelor degree. So there were 4 classes below us. So I don't know, 9 times 4, there were a little bit more. It was probably over 40 or 50 people because some of the classes were bigger than others. We had kind of a small class with only 8 or 9 people. And I remember standing up there in front of everybody. We all had to say who our favorite professor was and why and thank them. And I got so nervous. I remember I was talking to my classmates. I'd gotten pretty close to my classmates, and I was talking to them about how nervous I was. And I was like, okay, I'm going to calm myself down. And they're like, Troy, you're making me nervous. Stop. So I was trying to calm myself down, and I was making it all about me. And it was just kind of really selfish, borderline narcissistic, I might say, at least in that moment where, I just need everybody to like or to approve of me, and I need to be eased by everybody. I need everybody's approval. I don't want to be embarrassed in front of everybody, being too nervous and stumbling over my words or something. So I get up there, and my whole class, everybody said something, and it got to me, and I got so nervous, and the feelings of I remember in speech class in high school, my face would sometimes go white, and I blacked out my first speech, but blacked out, I still made it through the speech, but I didn't remember what I said. All I remember doing was walking up to the podium and then walking back. And because I don't know, there's so much probably adrenaline and anxiety or whatever. So in college here, now I'm just getting twitchy faces, twitching. I'm all tense, and face probably got a little white. I looked down, couldn't control myself. I probably made it seem a lot, in my head, it was a lot more dramatic than it actually was. Everybody who was looking at me was probably just like, oh, this guy's really fucking nervous. So experiences like that, I've had experiences like that where I'm in front of people or somebody's introducing me to somebody new, and it's just this weird reaction I got of making myself small. I had to look down, my face would get all twitched, my body would jerk, but my body would get all tense. Sometimes my face would get white. Sometimes I would sweat a lot in social situations, and I would just have to my response would be to look down or try to smile, but I couldn't smile. You ever just if you're a people pleaser, you kind of understand this. You have that nice guy attitude, and you smile, and somebody tells a joke that's not funny. I used to hate it when adults, my aunts or something, or teacher or whoever, would be like talking to my mom or something, and then I would be there as a kid, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, Troy, haha, whoa," and they would make a joke, and I'd just be like, haha, just laughing like politely, even though what they said wasn't even funny. But after a point, I when I got a little older, like I said, like late teens, early 20s, I like when I did do that fake smile, which I realized it wasn't a haha that's funny smile or like a genuine smile. It was more like a smile that I was forcing myself to do. And I became like almost incapable of doing that because my face would start to tense up. It's almost like your true emotions just have to come out. And I actually started to get a lot of comfort in not having to laugh, I'd just be like, and sometimes people would be like, "Oh, Troy, you're the only one at the table not laughing." Like some insecure person in the group would say that to me because they need everybody to laugh at their joke. Anyway, so yeah, back to that experience. I'd had many experiences like that, just scattered throughout my teens and early 20s, where it was just like, this fucking sucks. Like, this sucks. I'm in front of a bunch of people and I'm trying to act a certain way and I can't. And I'm just like twitching and like nervous and shit. And everybody can see that I'm super nervous. This is embarrassing. Ultimately, it led me to, and at that point, by the way, at the end of my semester, I had already been approaching women on my college campus, just like female students. I was a student. I was approaching female students because I had a problem with talking to girls. I wasn't good at talking to girls, so like I would walk up and give somebody a compliment. I got a lot. Like most responses were very good because I was just genuinely doing it to make myself more confident. I've shared that a little bit in other videos on this YouTube channel, but yeah, that was in the midst of doing that, and still I had this experience come up where I was like incredibly nervous in front of a group. And honestly, like I'm gonna title this video "Social Anxiety Ruined Me" or "Ruined My Life" or something like that. Something dramatic. It's a dramatic title, but the ending is a positive because whenever you're faced with a huge challenge, like something, like what it really ruined was a life of being fake. Because I was incapable of being fake. And I had to now kind of show my true demeanor, my true emotions, or else I would get incredibly nervous trying to put on a show for people. And even being nervous was part of me. And in certain situations is still part of me to this day. Because we all have insecurities, right? I mean, throughout your entire life, you kind of just find out what your insecurities are when you're put in a situation, usually a social situation, and somebody says something to you and you're like triggered by it or something. You kind of figure out your insecurities as you go along in life. And those moments where you figure out your insecurities, it gives you a decision to make. You can try to act like you're not insecure, and you can even go home at the end of the day and tell yourself you're not insecure about that. Or you can feel that insecurity come up when somebody says something and realize that you're unscathed at the end of the day. And you can be as nervous as you want. You can feel all the feelings that you want. You can be as embarrassed as you want. You can get all the disapproval from other people that you can get. Most people around you can just like think you're weird or whatever, but at the end of the day, which likely won't happen, right? People are pretty understanding, but that's me right now, lulling you. Let me just stick to this idea for a second, this thought experiment. Everybody around you can think you're weird. You can be embarrassed. At the end of the day, you're unscathed. You're still here. Nothing really changed. Nothing happened. Physically, right? And a lot of people, like I would encourage you not to all of a sudden right now just go, oh, but stuff is happening inside your head. It's psychologically damaging, Troy. Ugh, stuff's happening, blah, 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 blah. Let all that stuff go on. You're unscathed. All right. Hopefully that instilled some confidence or brought you to the realization that social anxiety actually, or like any type of anxiety or feeling, is not in control of you or your hands or your long-term actions of how you want to live your life. And that is a very empowering message that I want to spread.